We know that with other CPA exam review courses, you're given login credentials to a site, and with some, you're even sent a box in the mail. You have all these materials and resources which you, in many cases, have spent thousands of dollars on. Great. Now what do? You look for the instructions on how you're actually supposed to study for the exam with all the materials. What order? How much and how often? Which resource is most important? MCQs, notes, flashcards? And of course, you find nothing. No instructions anywhere. This is why we have developed the Ninja Study Framework. In this video, we'll answer all those questions and more you didn't know you had. You can use this framework with any CPA review course, but for illustrative purposes, and because we own a review course, we'll use Ninja CPA Review. While we're fond of ninjas in general, many people don't realize that in our case, Ninja is an acronym. The 5 letters each individually represent a piece to the Ninja framework. N is for nail the concepts. I stands for intense notes, as in you will need to take intense notes. The second N stands for non-stop MCQ, which of course means this is where you begin diving into your review course's MCQ. The J stands for just rewrite it, as in rewriting your notes. And lastly, the A stands for all comes together. We'll explain these all in detail throughout this video. Let's start with the first N, which again stands for nail the concepts. You do this by reading your Ninja book before doing any MCQ. Also, begin reading the Ninja notes and listening to the Ninja audio, even if you haven't covered a particular subject in the Ninja book. One key to success is to listen to the Ninja audio and read the Ninja notes as many times as possible in the weeks leading up to the exam. Let's reiterate this again. It's important you do this before the MCQ so that you are retaining what you've learned in the MCQ leading. If you do MCQs 8 weeks out before the exam, you will not retain them. Last, but definitely not least, as you'll see in the next section, while you're nailing the concepts, you should simultaneously be taking intense notes. As you are nailing the concepts by reading the Ninja book and Ninja notes and listening to the Ninja audio, take intense notes. The goal is to never have to go back and reread the book because you've written down the key concepts covered. As for the actual notes, we recommend using the Cornell method for note-taking, which is a method preferred by universities and other learning centers. The basic idea is that the left side of your page will contain keywords, key concepts, or questions, while the right side of your page will contain general notes that correspond to the keywords and concepts on the left. The bottom of the page is reserved for you to write a summary of what is contained on that page. Your downloadable Ninja Study Framework will have multiple blank pages set up for this note-taking style, which you can copy and use for all your notes. We come to the second N, which stands for non-stop MCQ. You've read your Ninja book and the Ninja notes. You've listened to the Ninja audio. You've taken intense notes and have a killer stack of keywords and notes going. Now it's time to dive into the Ninja MCQ. If you miss a question, write down the keywords and notes that the question is testing you on and add it to your stack of notes. If you get a question correct, but think you'll forget the concept later on, write it down. The MCQ software is broken into 3 modes. First is the assessment mode. This is the first 35% of the material, which figures out what you know and what you don't. Based on what you knew and didn't know in the assessment mode, the software tailors the questions to help you improve in the areas where you are weakest. The final phase is the review mode. You reach this phase when you have answered each question successfully at least once. Now on to presents Just Rewrite It. It's tedious, it's awful, it works. The process will take about a week, so plan accordingly. 2 weeks out from your exam sounds about right. Take your stack of notes and rewrite them into the keywords and notes area of this study planner. You'll need to make multiple copies of this template. The easy road is to skip this step. Don't take the easy road. It will pay dividends on exam day. Finally, we reach the last stage of the process that is going to put you on the path to passing the CPA exam. The A step, which signifies all comes together. You've nailed the concepts. You've taken intense notes. You've worked MCQ until you hate life. You even hate the word ninja at this point. You've rewritten your keywords and notes. This is where it all comes together. 1. Carry your stack of keywords and notes everywhere you go. 2. Watch Ninja Blitz videos. 3. Watch Ninja Plus. 4. Listen to MCQ audio. 5. Read through Ninja flashcards. 6. Make a list of your weakest MCQ topics and work backwards. 7. Start with your weakest topic and do 20-question mini testlets until your score is in the 70s and move to your next weakest topic. 8. Finish your review and then go give your exam a reverse roundhouse kick in the face. Hi-ya! Now onto the question of the exact order and timing of when the various ninja tools should be used. We're going with a 7-week plan where you'll need to study 20 to 25 hours a week. You're right now wondering how you'll fit 20 to 25 hours into your already busy week. Don't worry, we've got you. We'll get to that in a minute though. For now, we'll get back to the order in which you should consume the various ninja tools. We'll break this down by weeks. Weeks 1 through 4 will essentially be the same. You'll be nailing the concepts and taking intense notes. Each of the first 4 weeks, you'll read 25% of the ninja book, so that by the end of week 4, you'll have completed the entire book. For each of these first 4 weeks, you'll read the ninja notes once. You will listen to the ninja audio twice per week for the first 4 weeks. Listen to ninja audio 24/7 in the car, at the gym, etc. And during these 4 weeks, you will be taking intense notes from the book, notes, and audio. Move on to week 5. This is where your MCQ starts, but not before now. Again, nail the concepts before moving on to the MCQs. During this week, you should listen to ninja audio 2 times, and, of course, continue to take notes on what you're learning. We're getting down to the wire now, week 6. This is where you take that massive stack of keywords and notes you've been compiling over the last 5 weeks and write them out again. Yes, all of them. This works. Do not think you are the one who is smart enough to skip this step. This is an enormously important step in the process and should not be missed. Continue with your MCQs as well, non-stop. Ah, the home stretch. Your last week before the big day. This is week 7. This is the week it all comes together for you. During your 7th week, you should be in the review mode of the MCQ. Find your weakest section, based on your scores, and start there with drilling down into those questions until you are at 70% proficiency or higher. Then move on to your second weakest topic. Your trending goal this week is to be 85% or higher. Those who have made it to the review mode and are trending at 85% or higher have an 85 to 90% pass rate. About 1 to 3 days before the exam, read Ninja flashcards over and over again. Watch Ninja Blitz. The day before the exam, read Ninja notes and read your keywords and notes. The big day has arrived. You think it's over and only have to take the exam. No more studying. Wrong. More studying to do. Try to schedule your exam for around 1 p.m. That's the optimal time. On the day of the exam, do the MCQ of your weakest topic. Read the Ninja notes. Read your keywords and notes. En route to the exam, listen to the Ninja audio topic that is your weakest section. At the testing center, in your car, review the Ninja notes on your weakest topic. The only thing left to do after this point is give your exam a reverse roundhouse kick to the face. Hi-ya! We didn't forget to tell you how to find the time to study for the CPA exam. Introducing the Early, Lunch, Late plan. This plan is tailored for almost anyone, including those of you working a full-time job with a family. The ELL plan will exceed the recommended 130 study hours in 7 weeks. You will incorporate 25 hours of studying into each week using the Early, Lunch, Late method. The Early, Late Lunch plan is simple. The sacrifice is not. The idea is that you set a schedule, make a habit of it over the course of the 7 weeks necessary to pull this off. Early. Get up 1.5 hours earlier than normal. If you are already getting up at 4, don't shake your head in disgust. This plan isn't for you. For those who normally get up at 6 or 6:30 a.m., start getting up at 4:30 or 5. Stumble to the coffee pot, which you loaded the night before, and hit the go button. While the coffee is brewing, go take a quick shower and wake up. Head back to the coffee, grab a cup, and sit down at your computer and books, which you also set up the night before. Study for an hour. Notice that email, Facebook, sports sites, or news was nowhere in this sequence. Lunch. Say no to the coworkers heading down the street to grab lunch and talk about how dumb their boss is for an hour. You take your lunch to your desk, which you also packed the night before. Start eating and hit play on your Ninja audio. Your legal pad and pen will get food smears on it while you take notes, as will your mouse, but who cares? Same rule applies as the morning. No email or internet. Study for an hour. Late. This is where it will differ greatly based on your home situation, based on whether you are single with no children, married with no children, or married with children but your spouse is at home, etc. Somewhere between the hours of 7 p.m. to 11 p.m., set aside the time to study. Study at a coffee shop, the library. Stay late at work. Do it at home. Whatever works for your situation. Study 2 hours. Do this 4 days a week. Have lunch out Friday and take Friday night off. On the weekends, you study 4 hours on Saturday and Sunday both. Set aside the time, early, lunch, or late, and commit. Repeat for 7 weeks. This first week will be hard. Push through it. This is 7 weeks with the formula laid out in front of you. You now know what to study, in what order, and how to find the time to do it. You've got this.